Arne, Gary Neville after the game on Sunday labelled you as huge favourites for the title, so how do you see it now?
Is that the first one he does, isn't it? First time he does so. He had a different opinion in the start of the season about us, which probably most people had, so he was not the only one, except for our fans. I've said many times already, we don't look at it at this moment like this. We know we have a difficult week coming up again, and where we fought Madrid and City were very difficult teams to face, which they actually were as well. I think it's even harder to go away in an away game to Newcastle, so we're not even halfway to the season yet. But it's a good position to be in, that's definitely true.
Not just a difficult week, because, okay, you've got back-to-back away games in the Premier League, but 6 of your next 9 games in all competitions are away from home. You're playing every 3-4 days in that period as well, so just how challenging is that, particularly when you're there to be shot at now as well?
Yeah, maybe the last thing makes it difficult, but I think if Liverpool is number 1, 2, 3 or 4, it is always a very special game for the teams we face. So it doesn't matter that much what the league table tells you. If Liverpool comes, then all the stadium is sold out, and everyone wants to play us and wants to have the best game against us, like they have against Arsenal, Man City and all the others. So the good thing is for me that it's not only us who play that many games. So for example, if we face Everton next week, they've had a game during the week as well. So mostly we face teams that are rested for a week because we play Champions League and some others don't. But now many teams have many games because it's England. We play a lot of games in this period of time. But yeah, I wasn't aware of the fact that 6 of the 9 were away, but now you tell me it makes it even more difficult. But we're ready for it.
And just aside from the game, I'll go back to Mo, because there was a hint at the weekend that it could be his last home league game against Manchester City, and obviously subsequently there have been reports that he's exasperated the contract situation at the moment. Just to put it a little bit differently, is this all just part of the dance before everything's agreed and Mo commits his future to Liverpool for another season?
Maybe Mo knows more about the 115 acquisitions that are done, so he expects them not to be in the Premier League next season. And I do expect them in the Premier League. No, I think the boring answer is always the same. This is not the place for me to talk about Mo's contract, and maybe I've said already too much about the joke I just made, so that will probably get the headlines. But it was a joke. I repeat, it was a joke.
You're welcome.
Any news in terms of injuries or players coming back, particularly as far as goalkeepers are concerned? Because you might have a big decision to make in a few weeks' time, maybe?
I feel I always have a big decision to make in every lineup I have to make. So if you look at our last game against City, I didn't play Darwin, I didn't play Curtis, I didn't play Wata, I didn't play Harvey Elliott, so and Gerard Kwanzaa, and probably I forget 1 or 2 now, Tyler Morton. So it's always big decisions you have to make as a manager of Liverpool, because we have so many quality players. But I think I've been clear a few weeks ago about what my position is about our goalkeepers. But we're just waiting for the moment that Alisson is completely fit, because Cruyff is doing too well to put Alisson in goal if he's only on 50%, and that would not be good for Alisson and not be good for the team. So he's getting there. It might take a few more extra days, but he's getting closer and closer. And like I've always said, the end phase of a rehab is always the most the period where you feel like, okay, is he really there, or does he need a few extra days? But he will be in goal before the end of December, if things continue like they are now.
And after such an intense week where you've had 2 particularly big tests in Real Madrid and Manchester City, do you speak to the players? Do you look at things? Do you assess things in terms of making sure that nobody now takes the foot off the gas at all? Not as detailed as you say. You always, no matter how it goes in a season, you always keep your eye on the players, who feels very well, who doesn't. But I think all the players have felt till now what we've done
to secure this position we are having at the moment, to secure these wins. And they all know how hard they had to work for it. So if we would have done this by just playing on 50%, and it's so easy for us, then they might feel, we're just too good for this league. But that's definitely not what we feel. Against every team, no matter if it's City or Real Madrid, or it was Wolverhampton Wanderers or Nottingham Forest, we had to work really, really, really hard to get a result, and I think that keeps them with both feet on the ground. Is that the saying here as well? Okay.
Hi Arne, you asked on Sunday about not getting carried away. How important is it that you have got players in this squad who've done all this before, won the league, the Premier League with Liverpool? How important is it to have those players there, and is it easy not to get carried away as well for the players?
I think it is important, but it's also the culture of this club that it's, for us, it's not a that special thing to be on top of the league or to be on top in the Champions League format. Although that is special because it never been before. Normally you have a different group in the Champions League, but this club, this team, these players are used to the fact that they're top of the league or they are competing for every trophy. So. Then it helps that they've experienced this. They also have experienced this, that they competed for a long time, and then in the end they came too short. They couldn't manage to win it. So they also know that it's a long season, and to win the league against the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal and City, because I see those three as our main competitors at the moment. They all know that we have to be for 9-10 months on top of our game, because if you let down for a second, these clubs show up immediately. So so that is a combination of factors, that they have the experience, but they also see the quality of Chelsea. They've experienced the quality of Arsenal and also of Chelsea and of City already. So they know we have to stay on top of our game, and they're now facing Newcastle, which is the team that have won at home from Chelsea, at home against Arsenal, and had a draw against City. So they don't need me to tell them how difficult the game of tomorrow will be.
And Cody Gakpo is in a great spell at the moment. 6 goals in his last 7 games, his best spell since he's been at the club. How much were you looking forward to working with him when you first came here? And is he a player who can score 20 goals in a season?
Unfortunately, I've experienced that already, that he is able to score 20 goals in a season when he played for PSV Eindhoven, when I was at Feyenoord Rotterdam. And he almost every time scored against us. So he was able to score it in that league, and he's definitely able to score that many goals here as well. Just like Lucio, just like Mo, just like Darwin or Diogo. They're all capable of scoring that amount of goals. Now, unfortunately for them, they have so many good players around them that they don't start every single game, because that would help for them to get the numbers even higher. But if I combine the numbers of Cody and Lucio, we probably have, they probably maybe are coming close to the numbers Mo has. So it's the position that has to bring the numbers, and the same for the 9 position, as well for the right winger position. But Cody is in a very good place at the moment. But I think you agree with me that Lucio is as well.
Thank you.
Oh. Arne, you got the best defence in the Premier League, but with the result, with the injuries that you've got there, is that the area the team's probably going to come under most pressure in December, because you haven't got maybe the cover you'd like or the chance to make the changes?
Yeah, you tell me we've got the best defence because we've conceded less goals. Yeah, so that doesn't mean we only have the best defence. That means we have 11 players that work really, really hard not to concede a goal. But I agree with you that our last line has impressed this season, and maybe season before as well, but this season a lot as well, because every time they have to defend, they are there, as well as our goalkeeper. So yeah, if in another line, is that the way you say it? So midfield, attack or defense, we would have had this amount of injuries, that would have worried me as well, especially because I knew, and it's been just said, that we've got 9 games coming up in this month. So to go into that month with only 5 defenders is not ideal, but it's part of everyone's season. And we play just as many games in October, in January. So yeah, whenever you have got some injuries in a certain line, it's always a bit of a worry. But I trust the players we are having now, that they do everything they can to stay fit. And we have to take smart decisions in this as well, to keep them available for this month, because if you face the likes of the clubs I just said, you cannot have a month where you don't have the results, because then they will be back.
You talk about smart decisions. In terms of fullbacks, you haven't got a really genuine cover at fullbacks, and you brought Jarrell on to cover for Trent. Are you going to have to make some sort of smart decisions there in terms of covering at fullbacks, because you haven't got the genuine article there to come in?
Yeah, it depends always on the result. If people judge it as smart, but we have to be creative. Maybe that's a better word to use. For the moment that we cannot use Trent. So last weekend against City, we didn't thought it was smart to play Trent for 90 minutes after his injury, and that's probably going to be the same tomorrow and on Saturday as well. So then we have to be creative, and for me, playing Jarrell over there is not so creative. He's able to play there, but maybe for whatever reason, if we need Jarrell as a centre back because one of the centre backs can't continue the game, then we need to be even more creative. And if it works out, you would probably call it smart. If it doesn't, it's one of the stupidest things I've done till now.
Hi Arne, I wanted to ask you about Mo Salah, a football question.
Yeah.
His goals and assists have been worth 20 Premier League points so far this season, and he's contributed to 53% of the total of the team. You mentioned that Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz have got good goal scoring records, but is there a danger of perhaps an over-reliance on him when it comes to assists? Because I think he's nearly got 3 times as many as everyone else in the team.
Is there a danger that we rely too much on him? Is that what you're saying? A bit, because but only for the fact that he can, because he's also a human being, and it happened to him last season that he can get an injury as well. And since Federico Chiesa has had a difficult start to the club because of injuries, we don't really have a replacement for Mo. The good thing is that Harvey Elliott is getting fitter and fitter again, and he played this position many times as well. So I'm not afraid that Mo his numbers will drop at all. But when it comes to an injury of him, then we are in a better position on the left wing than we are at the right. But the good thing is Federico is also training with us again, is getting back, and Harvey is getting back. So, but the best thing that can happen to us is that just Mo stays fit and keeps producing these numbers.
Arne, just back to the defensive theme. Joe Gomez obviously came in for Canate. He's not had loads of football this season, but every time he comes in, he's barely put a foot wrong. How much of a testament is that to sort of his mentality and his quality that he keeps coming in without necessarily having loads of rhythm and performing?
Yeah, I think everybody sees his quality, but for exactly the reason you just said, it shows how his mentality is, how impressed I am by his mentality, because it's not always easy to come in during a game or to replace a player that did so well, and I think Konate did really well, and it's not for the first time he's experiencing this. So some players can do this for a season and then they're like, yeah, now I want to play, I want to go somewhere else, and Joe is patient in a good way. He always makes sure he's ready whenever the club or his teammates need him, and that is special when it comes to his mentality, because not many players can do this for so many years that he has done this. But last season he played many games. I think you could call him a starter that season, and in some other seasons maybe he was more of the first choice, the second choice in every other position in the last line. And for him to keep doing this probably tells you a lot about his mentality, but also what he does on a daily basis in training sessions and at home to stay as fit as he is, because he's incredibly fit and ready to perform, and that is more special than people think it is. That's definitely true.
What's wrong with it?
You're in a really strong position in the league, and a lot of supporters saying to consolidate that position when January comes around, maybe to cover all bases, to add to the squad in some areas. Has any discussion been going on with the hierarchy about maybe adding to the squad in January yet?
We are having discussions every day, no matter if there's a window coming up or not. So we always talk about the team, which players we like, which players are maybe not in the best place. Fortunately, we talk more about the ones that do well, because almost all of them do really well. It is a bit of a worry that 3 defenders are out at the moment. But the good thing is, if the window opens, the defenders are back. So I've said many times in the beginning of this season, I'm so happy with the squad we are having, and that's not to say if there will be a chance in the market. This club has always shown that they are going for it. That's also what we did with the goalkeeper, who's not even with us at the moment, but we felt it was a chance for us to do it. So that is where this club is known for, and these people like Richard and Michael Edwards are known for. But we are mainly focused now on Newcastle, on Everton, and all these 9 games that are coming up. But yeah, it's normal that we also have conversations about our squad and what can we expect. Can something change, yes or no? Which are the chances in the market?